Hey Q, I'm gonna try and get all these questions out without making too many pauses, and or ands. So I made a list. So some of my questions include, because I'm a new vlogger and I'm still trying to find my niche here on YouTube, I am trying to be more related to fashion and or society issues here in the States in terms of body image and also cosmetics. As I don't know if you recall my question about cosmetics in Japan, but back onto questions. What were some of your most difficult times in Japan and how did you deal with them? So when you first got to Japan, I know they talk about that initially you get there, you go through phases that you're first like really excited and awesome, and then you go through this type of withdrawal and fear, and it would be really good to know, especially because you're not for somebody like me. I'm applying to the JET program and I'm really excited. I don't know any Japanese other than the little bits that I've picked up from watching Japanese media, which is obviously not the best source material for learning Japanese. And were there situations or time or when you met people in Japan that were just really awkward? They asked you really strange questions. I've watched a lot of J vloggers that have actually talked about some instances where some Japanese people that actually asked them questions had no filter, and some of the questions were very inappropriate. And I know their response was, if you're not comfortable answering, don't answer it at all. But I was just interested if you had any of these types of questions and how did you deal with them, and or if there were situations where you were just uncomfortable because of the cultural differences, i.e., maybe at like some sort of like something that's natural there and it's not obviously in the States, like some of the shops there where they're more open about sexuality in terms of like the pornography industry. And it's a lot of people talk about that you'll just walk into a store and it looks normal, and then all of a sudden it's just like pedophile porn everywhere. It's just some of your fun stories about that, and kind of if you ran out screaming or what. And did you already know how to fabricate your own clothing before you went to Japan, or did you learn while you were there? Because I certainly would love to learn how to make my own clothes, and I know it would be fun, but I also don't want to have to learn on the fly, especially there. I don't know if their sewing machines are the same as here in the States. I want to say that you probably made a video about Japanese craft stores. I saw it, I did not watch it, and I will have to search through your videos. But if you didn't make one, if you could, that'd be awesome, because it'd be really fun to know what's inside a Japanese craft store. Also, I would love to have my own yukata. Would I be able to make my own from the materials at a Japanese craft store? Like, would they have the fabrics in order to make a yukata? I say this because I'm a really big pear shape, and I know that's not really good for Japanese clothing because you have to be more cylinder-esque, but I would love to, at least if I even made a really shabby one, I'd really love to make one and have one to wear out, as weird as I may look with it on. And what were some of the misconceptions or stereotypes that you heard about while in Japan or encountered, or even some that were directed at you? I've heard a lot of the American stereotypes, the negative ones, given, like, I was like, oh, American Jagaijin are loud, annoying, they're rude. But I don't hear very much others, and I'm sure there's probably some obscure ones out there. And or what's on my list? And it's obvious, it's hard to say that this is how Japan is going to look at you because you are American, or when they first look at you on the street and just notice you're a foreigner, that if they may automatically assume they know where you're from, or obviously have a general prejudice or first in opinion, I guess would be the best word to call. Like the moment they see you and it's like, oh, she has blonde hair, she must be stupid type thing, or it's like, oh, she has big boobs, she must be promiscuous, or just weird random things that they've probably asked you. And I don't know if you ever like experienced the onsen, or that would be really fun to know about. I've heard stories about J vloggers going and they were comfortable with themselves, and they didn't really think of themselves as being that much different from Japanese women, but they go in there and the Japanese women trying to grope them because their boobs are bigger. And I don't know. I don't recall if I ever saw one of your videos that you went to like a beach or a lake or anything. But if you happen to know any of what Japanese activities are going to the beach, or some general rules that someone might like to be aware about, like, oh, don't wear this type of swimsuit. It's going to be really obscene if you wear this type of swimsuit. Or if the waters are all around Japan are really cold, because I'm off of Northern California, our water's hypothermic. And I'd certainly love to be able to scuba dive off the coast of Japan. And it would be really good to know if I definitely need to have a wetsuit, because I had to get mine custom just to dive here in the States, because none of the wetsuits here could fit me. I want to make sure that if I try and go over there, I have to get my wetsuit mailed to me there. And how is it honestly a month that it takes for anything that you get sent from the States to reach you? And those are all my questions for now. I'm sure I'll have plenty more. And thank you so much. I understand that you may not be able to answer all my questions. And but if you could point me in the right direction, or maybe hint at other J-vloggers that may know something about some of my questions, especially towards like fashion and cosmetics, because I'm really excited about that. And I'm also really nervous because it's going to be a whole different world over there. So thank you so much. Bye.